Okay, we've got another bike video for you today. We're going to focus on the rear derailleur and how I adjust it. It may not be the best way, but it's the way that I do it. It's the best way for me, I should say. So we're going to be working on a Shimano XT version, and we'll get started. We'll show you how to initial setup and then the fine adjustments. Again, this is how I do it. It may not be the best way, probably not, but it works best for me. I've tried some of the other ways and they just didn't work. So let's get started. Okay, first thing you want to do is familiarize yourself with the adjustments on the rear derailleur. You've got two screws back here. You've got your high adjustment right here. It's actually on top. Your low adjustment, and then you've got your B screw right here. And then obviously you've got this fine adjustment tool, and then you've got your actual your cable. And we've got the chain off. It's a little easier with the chain off. This is how I always initially, when I'm installing a new unit, this is how I always start out. There's probably better ways out there, but this is what works for me. I always have smooth shifting derailleurs, so this is what I stick with. Okay, I'm going to try to get these shots. They're going to be a little bit difficult. So the first thing we want to do is low, which the low is actually your largest sprocket. And again, that's this screw right here. What you're trying to accomplish, let's see if we can get this in here. This sprocket here has to be in line with this. You can see it's a little to the inside. And to do that, you're going to push it out as far as it can go. Again, this is why we have the chain off. It's really, with the chain you can't do this. So, adjust this. Sorry about that. So, okay, to adjust this, again, you go to your low adjustment, or it's right here, and as you turn this screw clockwise, brings it in, counterclockwise, takes it out. So, that's all you do. I'm not pulling that in, that's pulling itself. It's basically clockwise, counterclockwise. Again, clockwise brings it in this way, counterclockwise takes it out. We needed to go out a little bit, so we went counterclockwise. That's about good there. And then the high adjustment. Pull the derailleur, and I don't know, we'll try to get a shot of that. The smallest cog, or sprocket I should say. It's going to be hard to catch this on camera, but those are actually lined up. I'll show you how to adjust it anyway. What you want to do is your high adjustments right here. Counterclockwise brings it in, clockwise takes it out. Well, actually I should say counterclockwise brings it in, clockwise takes it out. So counterclockwise, you're going this way, clockwise, you're going that way. So that's the initial adjustment there. Now the next adjustments I'm going to show you are initial. Again, initial. You want to fine tune these by riding the bike and going through the gears. If you do it without a load, chances are it's going to fail. So you're going to need to actually ride the bike, go through the gears. You will have to do some fine adjustments even after this adjustment, because with a load everything changes. So next you want to shift through the gears. So we've got it in the lowest gear, gear 9, and then we want to go down to gear 8. Oops, went 2 clicks. Just to see if it lines up. This is not. So what you would want to do is this right here. Fine tune this. Just turn it until, and again, counterclockwise brings it in, clockwise takes it out. That initial adjustment that we did is not for the shifting, it's actually for the full throw. So if I'm all the way in 9th gear, the lowest gear, if I go to shift it, it doesn't pop off the chain. Same as if I'm in the highest gear, first gear, if I go to shift, it doesn't pop off down here. That's all those initial adjustments do. This is your shifting adjustments here. So then you want to shift to the next gear, gear 7, and see if it lines up. Gear 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And see there, that's totally, if I push it any further, totally stopped. Now you do want a little play. I have no play in there right now. You want a little bit, but if it were out of adjustment, those first initial adjustments we did, show you what it's going to do here. So we're going to detune it, to speak. So now it's past that first gear. And see, if you can see that, yeah, you can see that. It's past that first gear, so when I hit first gear, I'm going to jump off the chain. So those are adjusted, let's say. So you're wanting to fine tune it. Well, fine tuning it, kind of what we just did. First you want to do it, you want to have the chain on the bike, and we'll actually put the chain on the bike, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But you're going to have to ride it. Again, load, totally different story. So I'm going to put the chain on, we'll come back, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we've got the chain back on here. Also, for those of you wondering, I do have a bike stand, but in order to show this, and actually working on this for me is a lot easier with it just flipped upside down, very gently. Okay, we got the chain back on. We're in the lowest gear, gear 9. See, it's pretty smooth. Now I'll show you what, when these screws are out of adjustment, what will actually happen. So we're going to adjust the low screw. We're going counterclockwise to bring it in. Let me go a little bit more. Okay, see? See, it's wanting to jump into the spokes. And to bring that in, we'll just go clockwise. Now if you're in clockwise too far, I'll show you what happens. You hear it jumping, it's wanting to jump into this gear number 8. So that's just what that screw does. Just kind of wanted to give you an overview, a little bit easier with the chain on to show you what happens. Now, the next adjustments are going through the gears. So we're going to shift into gear 8. You want to make sure it goes down. You can see it's still staying on 9. So you're going to want to screw this counterclockwise. There, just a little bit. You can see it's in gear 9, or 8 I should say. Now we'll go to gear 7. Smooth into gear 7. Go to gear 6. Smooth into gear 6. Gear 5. See it smooth into gear 5. Gear 4. Smooth into gear 4. You don't even hear it. Now with a load it may be a little different. Gear 2. Accidentally skipped over gear 3. And gear 1. That was just me. So you can see this is pretty smooth. Now, again, you're going to have to ride it now. A load will change the variance a little bit. So go ride it, and then you can do your final adjustments up here on this screw. Your low and high should be set, even without a load. Should be. You may have to adjust them a little bit, but do your final adjustments up there on the shifter while you're riding the bike. And that's really it. Now, okay, the last adjustment on the rear derailleur is going to be your B screw. And again, that's right here. Basically with the B screw, you want to get it as close, you want to be on the smallest, or the largest sprocket low, or smallest sprocket high. And you want to adjust this clockwise, counterclockwise. You want it as close to the little sprocket here on the derailleur, as close to your rear sprocket, whichever one. So you adjust this so it's almost touching the sprocket. You don't want it touching, you just want it close. And do the same, well actually I usually just do it on the largest one. Low gear, largest gear, I adjust it that way. And as long as it's close, not touching, then I leave the B screw alone. One thing I did forget to mention, it's best, at least I have found, which may not be a fact, when you're actually doing the rear derailleur adjustments, to be on your center front sprocket. the big and small, big one, you know, you've got a lot of angular tension when you're on the largest sprocket. In the smallest, you've got a lot of tension when you're on the smallest sprocket in the rear. So that's really it in a nutshell. It's pretty easy. Again, after you do these adjustments, you're going to have to adjust it some more while you're riding. It's not going to be, with the load, it changes everything. So don't assume it's done after this is, after that last step. Please post comments, questions. Thanks for watching.